All right, here we go. We're going to work on finding area under the curve. We're going to start with z-scores, and then we're going to progress to things that aren't in z-score form that we put into z-score form. So this chart works this way. This chart will find the area under the curve for any z-score. And the area, remember, a z-score curve is going to have 0 is the mean and 1 is the standard deviation. So it will always work from the left going to the right. So like if I want to find the probability, well, let's just do the first one. Find the probability that z is less than 1.43. So negative 1.43 is to the left of 0. So that's 0. The standard deviation is 1. Negative 1.43 is here. And we're going less than negative 1.43. So I can actually just go right to the chart. Find negative 1, so let's do it. Find negative 1.4, so this is negative 1.4, 0, 1, 2, 3. So about 0.0764. Probability z, let's write it up here, 0.0764. Cool. This one is a little bit different. So the mean is going to stay the same. The standard deviation is going to stay the same. But instead of going to the left, we're going the probability z is bigger. So negative 1.43 is going to be here. But we're going from the bigger side. So what we have to do is we actually use the same probability that we just found. We know that 1 is the area under the curve. So if I want to find, if I have 1, the area under the curve, I'm trying to find this area right here. I do 1 minus 0.0764. That's going to be 0.9236. Beautiful. All right, so what if I have a positive z-score? So a negative z-score is going to be left of the mean, and a positive z-score is going to be to the right of the mean. So here we're going less than. So we got 0, we got 1, we're going less than 0.65. So 0.65, if 1 standard deviation is here, it's going to be right about here. So I can already tell right now that I should get a number bigger than 50% because half the curve is already under water, if you will. So less than 0.65, so 0.65, it's a positive 0.65. So 0.6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.7422. So I know this is going to be 0.7422. And now I want to find the probability that z is greater than, so 0 is the mean, 1 is the standard deviation, greater than 0.65 is going to be going this way. So again, I can't use the table, but what I can do is I can find less than, which I already know, and do 1 minus that, 0.7422. 0.2578. Beautiful. And then finally, this one's a little different. So now we're going between two z-scores. So actually what we have to do is we have to find two probabilities. We have to find the probability that z is going to be less than negative 1. And we're going to find the probability that z is going to be less than 1. And then we're going to take those two probabilities. So less than negative 1, 0 is my mean, 1 is my standard deviation. Less than negative 1 is going to be right here. Less than 1 is going to be right here. So when I subtract the two, I'm left with just the middle part, which is what I want. So let's find the probability that z is less than negative 1. So I go here, negative 1.00 is going to be about 0.1587. And less than positive 1, so I go here, less than positive 1 is going to be 0.8413. So now if I want to find the probability that z is between those two, negative 1 and positive 1, I do 0.8413 minus 0.1587. 1587. 0.6826. Beautiful. It should be about 68%. Okay, so take a second to try this one. Okay, so we're going to set it up the same way, right? So 0's here, we got 1 here, so we're going between 0.98, which is about here, and 1.64. So we're looking for this area right here. So we find the probability that we're below this one. We find the probability that we're below this one, and then we subtract the two, and that will leave what's left in the middle. So probability Z is less than 0.98. Find 0.98 in the window. Beautiful. Find 1.67 in the window. Beautiful. And then you're going to subtract the two. So about 16%, or 11.6%, excuse me. Nice. So this one's a little different. So if you look here, this n means that we're dealing with a normal curve. And then we have the mean is 18, so we're going to write 18 in, and then the standard deviation is going to be 2.8. So the problem is right now is that we're going to find the probability that x is below 19. So 19 is right about here. So it's probably above. First of all, I can see right now that this is going to have a positive z-score, right? Because 19 is above 18. We're going to find this area. So unfortunately, we don't see like 19.8 in here. So what we have to do is we have to normalize the data. We have to make the mean 0. And we have to make the standard deviation 1 and figure out what the z-score is. So let's do that real quick. Let's see how many standard deviations away 19 is from 18. So if we do that, we go 19 minus 18 divided by the standard deviation, 2.8. And we get z equals 1 divided by 2.8, which is 0.357. We'll say 0.36. So now what we have is the same type of problem that we were doing before. So let's find the probability that z is less than 0.36. So all we do is go over here, find 0.3, go over to 6, boom, 64.6%. Beautiful. Yeah, let's try this one. Very similar type of problem. Notice we're going greater than this time, so this is going to be a little bit different. Here the mean is going to be 121. The standard deviation is going to be 32, and we're going to go greater than 105. So 105 is down here, and we're going greater than 105. So I can look at this, and I'm going to know that I'm going to have a negative z-score right away, and I'm going greater than that negative z-score. So let's find z real quick. Z equals x, which is 105, minus x bar, also known as the mean, 121, over 32. So z is going to equal 105 minus 121, enter, divided by 32, negative 0.5. So what we have to do is we have to find the probability that z is bigger than negative 0.5. And that's actually a little tricky. What we need to do is we need to find this area first because our graph is left bound, and then we'll do 1 minus that area. So let's find the area that we need. 1 minus, we have to figure out the area underneath the curve left of negative 0.5. So negative 0.50 is going to be that number right there, 0.3085. So 0.3085 is this area under the curve. We do 1 minus 0.3085, enter, and we get 0.6915. Right, our last one here. So we got n, normal. We know 74 is in the middle. We know 12.3 is the standard deviation. We're going to find the probability that I get an x between 70, which is over here, probably going to have a negative z-score, and 81, which is over here. So again, we need to find the z-score for 70. So we go z of 70. We're going to find that real quick. We need to find the z-score for 81. Find the two probabilities, and then subtract them. So let's find the z-score of 70. So if we do 70 minus 74 divided by 12.3, that's going to give me 0.74 divided by 12.3, 0.3252. So that's a z-score. That's not a probability. That's a z-score. That should be negative 0.3252 because we're going to the left. And then let's find the z-score for 81. So we do 81 minus 74 divided by 12.3. That's going to be, did it wrong, 81 minus 74, enter, divided by 12.3, enter, 0.56. Beautiful. So now let's find the probability that z is less than negative 0.325. And let's find the probability that z is less than 0.569. And then remember, we're going to take those probabilities and subtract them. So 0.32 is right here. 3233. We'll round it to 33. So that's 0.6293. And then 0.569, 0.569, which is 0.57, 0.7157. So the probability that you're between is going to be 0.7157 minus 0.6293. .0864. Boom. All right, cool. Thanks.